Hey guys, on this episode we'll be fixing an LG heat pump dryer which has a pump problem. So if you have your LG heat pump dryer that's not drying, 9 out of 10 times the pump needs to be changed. So if you run the dryer and then after a while you open this and there's no water in it, even at the end of the cycle, that means something's going on with your drain pump. So we're gonna go right ahead and change the drain pump. So to change the drain pump on the heat pump dryers, it's very simple. All you need is a Phillips head screwdriver and a flathead screwdriver. The pump itself will cost you maybe about say 60 to 70 bucks, but with the price of a heat pump dryer costing you a lot of money, that repair in itself is going to save you heaps, saving the repairman to come and sort it for you. So let's get busy and get this thing open so we can replace the pump. So very much like the pump in your washing machine, this pump is responsible for draining the water from the dryer. That way there's no moisture that's left in the clothes. So to remove the pump, we are going to need to access this side panel. So on the side of the washing machine, we're going to need to access that. So in order to do that, we will need to first take off the top cover. So the top cover needs to come off. In order for the top cover to come off, we have to remove a couple of screws. So we got one screw there, and then we got another screw there. So those are just Phillips head screwdrivers or Phillips head screws. Remove them and then we can take off our top. Alright, now that you've got those two screws out, all you need to do is pull the lid towards the back and it just comes out. Just like that. Easy as. Then we're halfway there. We are halfway there. Alright, so to take off that panel, we are going to need to remove some screws on the side bits here. So let's go ahead and remove those. Alright, so let's remove these screws. So you got one. And then down the bottom, you got a couple down there. There you go, two. So this will apply to most LG heat pump dryers. You just need to access the side panel. There's two screws on the front. You remove those. Then you can better access this thing. Alright, to take it off, you have to take off the water reservoir, put it to the side. There'll be two screws which you need to take off. One in here, one in there. And at the back of this panel, there'll be like two screws which you will take off. And then you can just lift that out. Just like that. Next thing we're going to do is we are going to access the bottom there. So this panel needs to come off so that we can access the bottom of the dryer to release the side panel. There we go. Just wedge it in there with a flat screwdriver. Beautiful. Here's out. All right. I'll show you guys what you need to remove some more screws to access the side panel. So you see that screw there needs to come off so we can remove that side panel. We are halfway there. So to take it off, once you've got that screw out, you pull this up and out and it comes out. That's it. let's have a look at what's on the side there. All right, beautiful. So I'll give you guys a peek at where the drain pump is on this thing. You're not gonna like where it is. It's a bit far in all this jungle. So in your heat pump, you got your compressor here. That's what controls the flow of air and all that. And then your pump is just nestled in there, over there. I'm not sure if you can see that. Right there. That's your pump. So you need to be able to access that and take it out from there. So for you to access that pump, you have to remove this whole back panel, and that is held in place by a couple of screws, which we will get to. So first thing we want to remove is this bit here. So we'll take our Phillips head screwdriver, remove the screws around that. All right, now that we got all those screws out, we need to lift this thing out. So just lift it up and out. There you go. All right, we are halfway there. Now we need to remove this nut, which is 13, if I'm not mistaken, 13 millimeter, and remove this Phillips head screw so we can detach this back panel. You want to remove this wiring. Actually, just take it off as one piece. Remove the Phillips head screws. That's your thermostat, or your sensors. This particular one is a hybrid, so it has both the heater and then the compressor. So if you want a quick dry cycle, you can just do the electric, or you can do a combination of both. Pretty good, I might say. Okay, so this stage we'll remove this 13 millimeter nut. I hope it's 13. Okay. Right, that looks like a 12. So when you've removed that nut there, either a 12 or a 13, whichever one works for you, then we need to remove this bit. So just simply lift it and it comes out just like that. All right. Now there's no need for us to remove that. We'll just keep it on there along with the wiring. Yeah, we'll just stretch all these wires and stuff. All right, next thing we're going to need to do is remove all the other screws holding onto this thing. So at the top, you got 2 screws holding the water valve. Remove that. If yours doesn't have a water valve, good for you. Good for ya. There you go, take that off. Then next one is the one that's holding the front panel to the one that's holding the side panel to the back panel. So just look around and you'll see all the screws that hold this thing on. So along this edge there'll be some screws along this edge, remove them, and at the top here there'll be some screws, remove them, and then on the other side there's some screws. So there's a screw there, you need to remove that. Alright, and there's a couple of screws. So you need to remove the side panel on the other side as well. So this other side panel, we need to remove it so that we can pull this one out. So let's do just that. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. A lot of screws. And for this side panel, same as the other one, there'll be a screw at the front here which you need to remove. So we're going to remove that so that we can remove this whole thing. Before we undo all the, before we take this off, make sure you take off all the plastic cable ties or cable holders that will be on there. So like that little bit there, and on the side there's that little bit there. So you want to make sure that that back panel is as free as possible, because this back panel holds a lot of cabling. So you can see there's cables in there, so we need to make sure that it's free so that it can come out nice and free. So the first thing that I would want to disconnect then is the power coming from the other board. So you can see a pink connector in there, that one. You want to disconnect that. Alright, we're almost ready to pull this. So the other thing we need to do is separate this bit from this back bit. Yeah, so this front bit separate from this back bit. So to do that, you need to push that inwards, push it inwards. And the same thing will go for the other side. We want to push this inwards, just like that. So this, once you do that, everything's loose now. You can see that, like, yeah, everything wants to come apart. So we're gonna pull it apart now. Don't be scared. If you're unsure where anything goes, you can always rewind the video and find where stuff goes. But we are there. We are almost there. So as you pry it open, just try to disconnect as many electrical connections as you can. There we go, we got that one out. And then we got power cable out. And what you want to do is you want to take off this earth cable, earth wire, so that it nicely detaches from the rest of the dryer. So I'm going to go right ahead and remove that earth. Alright. Beautiful. Alright. Everything is looking good. Alright. Alright. Just to show you guys an idea of what's going on inside your dryer. It's not all innocent and drying clothes nicely. There's a lot of gunk inside here, which if goes unchecked for a long time will be a fire hazard. So I'll show you what I mean. If you have a look in there, have a look at that. See all that gunk, that fluff. That's a fire hazard. That needs to be cleaned out. It's not helping with the airflow as well. So let's get rid of that. If you've got a vacuum cleaner, you can get rid of that as well. Alright, so there's a couple of other screw connections that you need to do. So the bottom here, 1 and 2, those go to the heater. You need to disconnect them. Now that you've got that out, we are going to separate these two things and better access our drain pump. So let's have a look at where our drain pump is. You'll notice that before we couldn't see it properly, but our drain pump is there now. You can see that's our drain pump. We're going to change that. So let's change that and see how we go. So if we remove that, we undo this wiring. Pops out like that. And then to take it out, you twist it until it comes out. So you twist it to clockwise, and then it comes out. Just pull him out. If you can get your hands around him. There we go. Beautiful. So that's the old one. And then putting in the new one, you just twist it anti-clockwise. So there's these hooks that it hooks onto, and then you can put it on there. So that's pretty easy, simple enough to change. So that will be causing your drainage issues. If you're unsure where anything goes, putting it together, you just do it in reverse of what we did. So it'll be easy to put back everything together. If you're unsure, just rewind and watch what we did. Basically, that's it. If you found any value in this video, please subscribe or put a like. This will help other people to find this content and be able to fix their dryers as well. Really appreciate you taking your time to fix this with me. So good luck with yours. If you have any issues, any questions, and if you want, there's a link to where you can buy this in the description below. Cheers. Thanks for tuning in. Till next time. Bye.